Hi students, so we're going to continue on with the treatment and controls of the class Cestodes, Cestodes 1 through 3, which include Dipallidium caninum, Taenia taniiformis, and Taenia saginata. Now for Dipallidium caninum, remember this is the flea tapeworm, and we're going to use praziquantals. Praziquantals are one of the most common forms of dewormer to treat tapeworms. And so praziquantals include, for dogs and cats specifically, Droncit, Drontal, and then Drontal Plus. All three of those have praziquantal in them. There's also a pyrantel and praziquantal, which on the market is known as verbantal. And then there's epsiprantal, which you might recognize if you have worked in a clinic already, and that is known as Cestodes. Now control measures, flea control. Remember that fleas are the intermediate host and carry that larval stage inside of them. So if we get rid of the fleas, then it obviously cannot complete its life cycle and we'll be able to cure the animal of this tapeworm. Now for Taenia taniiformis, the one thing that I did not include in the original lecture is the prepatent period for Taenia taniiformis. So if you'd like to write this down, it may be helpful. So the prepatent period, as you can see up in the top left corner, is 2 months. Now the treatment for Taenia taniiformis is the same as Dipallidium caninum. It would be a praziquantal. Control measures. You need to deworm cats regularly, especially if you have cats that go outdoor. I have a cat that goes out regularly and I see him eating mice. He's a barn cat, but he also comes inside. He brings rodents inside sometimes. I've seen tapeworms coming out of his rear end. So I need to deworm him literally every couple of months actually. And so it's okay to do that as long as your veterinarian understands that this is an outdoor cat and he's constantly mousing, and so we need to deworm him regularly. Also, if you don't like the fact that your cats are outdoors and catching mice, you can keep them inside. Now just beware that it's not out of the question that you're going to get mice in your house. That's a common thing as well. So if you want to keep your cats inside, it's okay. They're going to have less of a chance of getting into rodents. However, it's still a good idea to deworm them at least once a year and at least get that fecal exam if you suspect that there is any type of parasite activity. And so then, lastly, keeping your rodent population at bay. So however you want to do that, it doesn't necessarily mean your cats have to mouse to keep your rodent population at bay. That's kind of counterintuitive. And so what you can do is you can put out poison, or you can find other ways to get the rodents to stay away, stay out of your house. Now for Taenia saginata, now this is the beef tapeworm, remember? Remember that the definitive host is going to be your dogs or even people. And so again, we're using praziquantals to get rid of tapeworms, and there could be another brand name out on the market for humans. It may not be verbantal and certainly not Drontal. That's only prescribed for animals. However, it is going to be a praziquantal, which is your generic name. Now, for cattle, sheep, and goats, we use something a little bit different. We can use either oxfendazole, which on the market is known as Synanthic, and it comes in large bottles because we're dealing with large animals here, and then albendazole, which is known on the market as Valbazin. Now for some control measures for Taenia saginata, if you are going to get your animal butchered, then you need to have them inspected. So you need to have a meat inspection. If the carcass is condemned, it's for a reason. It means that you should not eat this animal, or else there's something obviously that can be affecting your health in a negative way. And so in this case, it would be you getting a tapeworm. Also, do not allow dogs or humans to eat raw meat. I know that's hard. A lot of us kind of like that medium rare, or some people even rare. However, you do need to be aware of where your meat is coming from, and be sure, obviously, that that meat is getting inspected before you buy it. Now, most grocery stores obviously have this, but if you are buying from a local farmer or something like that, just double check. If it's a USDA butcher that they're going to, it's obviously going to be inspected. And most butchers also know what to look for whenever it comes to parasites and things like that. And so usually it's not a problem in the US. However, it's still not unheard of. So you need to get that checked out. You can also cook beef to at least 57 degrees Celsius. If you want to know what that is in Fahrenheit, you're going to take 57 times 1.8 plus 32, and that will give you your degrees in Fahrenheit. So this is right around 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Freezing beef at -8 to 10 degree or -10 degrees Celsius for at least 10 days, and this will kill off those larval stages. Now, also avoid using human sewage or sludge for fertilizer on cattle pastures. Now, to us, this sounds kind of crazy. We wouldn't want to use human sewage on our pastures. However, sometimes if you're trying to save money, you're going to save what you can. Again, this may not happen in the U.S., but it may, and it certainly can happen in other countries. So this is just something to be aware of. If you want to avoid this, avoid using human sewage. Now also treat cattle and sheep herding dogs as well as workers with a dewormer. Now your workers on your farm or your farm hands may not be aware of this parasite, and it's really important, especially if you know it's prominent on a farm, that you educate these workers. And then obviously treat your dogs that are working with these animals and are around these animals constantly, just in case they have something to spread. All right, guys, so now move on to the review.